The story of Bangladesh began a long time ago. It starts with the British conquest of India in 1858 with the establishment of the British East India Company. Over the 19th and early 20th centuries, the British gradually expanded their region of control. As you can see in this map, the orange area is what was previously known as the British Raj. This massive region was the combination of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. In 1947, after World War II, when the British left the subcontinent, in a somewhat ill-conceived manner, they created two countries, India and Pakistan. The problem was that West Pakistan and East Pakistan were separated by almost 1,400 miles. However, this type of geographic boundary based on religion caused major political outrage. This forced a majority of Muslims living in India to migrate toward East or West Pakistan. The earliest seeds of conflict were planted in 1948 when Pakistani leaders Liaquat Ali Khan and Muhammad Ali Jinnah declared that only Urdu was to be spoken in both sides of Pakistan. The Bangladeshi population was very upset by this move. Urdu was hardly spoken in Bangladesh, so this sparked the beginning of the Bengali language movement. Bengali and Urdu have some major differences. Urdu is a member of the Iranian language family and is classified as a variant of Hindi. On the other hand, Bengali is a member of the Aryan language family. Even though both languages have absorbed vocabulary from Arabic, their grammatical structures, writing scripts, and core vocabulary differ immensely. In response to the Pakistani government's attempt to eliminate Bengali, a peaceful demonstration unfolded at the University of Dhaka. The protesters advocated to preserve the linguistic and cultural identity of the Bengali-speaking population. Tragically, the protest turned violent as the Pakistani police opened fire on the demonstrators, resulting in several casualties. The events of that day are now commemorated as International Mother Language Day. This day symbolized the Bengali people's resilience in the face of linguistic suppression and marked a significant event in the journey towards Bangladesh's independence in 1971. The language movement began to consolidate under the umbrella of a new political party, the Awami League. This party was led by a charismatic politician, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He rallied the general public to uphold the linguistic rights of the Bengali-speaking people. Gradually, the party took on a broader agenda of supporting the economic and cultural autonomy of Bangladesh. The Awami League eventually became the voice of an entire nation. By 1966, Sheikh Mujib decided to take the Bangladeshi independence issue to Pakistan's political leadership. He outlined several key demands, which included Bangladesh's own parliament, military force, and currency. He also showed that the taxes imposed on the public were never reinvested in educational institutions and local infrastructure. Sheikh Mujib was clear that Bangladesh's interests were simply being neglected by the Pakistani government. You will now watch a short clip from the 6-point movement speech. Some natural disasters also catalyzed the growing rift between Pakistan and Bangladesh. In 1970, Bangladesh was hit by a destructive tropical storm, Cyclone Paula. The wind gusts over 100 miles per hour ravaged many villages. Hardly any aid was sent by the Pakistani government to support ordinary citizens. This indifference led to further political discontent, ultimately setting the stage for the tumultuous events of 1971. What happens next is a crucial moment in history that tells the story of an untold genocide. By March of 1971, the Pakistani government decided that they were going to stomp out any demand for Bangladeshi autonomy by launching an all-out military offensive. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Pakistan's prime minister, along with General Yahya Khan, the top military commander, decided to launch a brutal crackdown called Operation Searchlight. Their secretive plan was to launch a military offensive in the darkness of the night on March 25, 1971. The basic plans were as follows. Under blackout conditions, the Pakistani military would round up and massacre intellectuals who supported the independence of Bangladesh. Pakistani tanks would take over the streets of Dhaka. Anyone seen on the streets after the imposed curfew would be captured and killed. Pakistani fighter jets would raid key parts of Dhaka city. The first few days of this military raid were brutal, and thousands of civilians were killed. The voices you are about to hear next are people who had miraculously survived these atrocities. These are images of my grandfather Abu Shamsuddin and my grandmother Shirin Shams when they were university students during this raid on Dhaka city. The first clip is my grandfather's voice. Listen to how close he was to being killed by the Pakistani military.
So I came on 25th March from the village. I came to Dhaka and I reached home at 11 p.m. at night. At 12 a.m. we heard a lot of firing, shooting. That means the Pakistani soldiers started a genocide. Anybody they found on the road anywhere, they killed. And I was thinking if I was 1 more hour late, I would have been killed.
The second clip is my grandmother's voice. She reveals a ploy by the Pakistani military, who tried to convince students that they all needed to show up at a central location to take exams. This was a ruse to arrest many school children all at once.
Pakistani army was forcing us to go to take the test. They are announcing that if you do not take the test, you will be out of school.
On a different night, my grandfather was arrested and interrogated by the Pakistani police.
I went inside and then 2 soldiers jumped into the store and catch me. And they took me to the truck. And on the truck they tell everybody to get down and they lined up. So I was thinking, is they going to shoot me here? You sit down, you sit down, you sit down. And when they reached me, okay, you come with me. Oh my God. Then I was thinking, now they are taking me alone. One of the army was sitting by my side. He said, what do you do? I tell them that I am a student. I was thinking that I have to tell the truth at this point. Because if I lie, they will find it out. So I agreed that I am a student. And I know that they can kill me. I'm thinking, oh my God. Then I felt like I cannot swallow anything. The army was very rude with me. Come on, you do it, let's move. And I was shivering at that time. He said that don't get afraid, just go inside and sit. In 5-10 minutes, he came and sat beside me and interrogated me for 3 hours. Finally, he let me go.
Over the next few months, the Pakistani military took part in widespread massacres and rapes, targeting the smaller villages beyond Dhaka city. Innocent civilians, including women and children, were subject to violence and abuse, and sadly, many families were torn apart.
Nobody knows actually how many people died. There is no statistics in that country, Pakistan. But we hear there were 3 million. 3 million people died. That is we treat as genocide.
In the meantime, Bangladeshi citizens began to organize a counter-offensive plan of their own. Ordinary people and military personnel formed the Mukti Bahini, a Bangladeshi liberation army. Using tactics such as fighting near dense forests and swampy farmland, they bravely resisted the better-equipped Pakistani military. The Mukti Bahini's efforts started to show results, and Pakistan began to feel defeated after Operation Searchlight was ineffective. As the humanitarian crisis grew, millions of refugees migrated to India, which prompted international attention. Pakistan received warnings from the United Nations to stop its unjust actions. Towards the end of 1971, India helped Bangladesh fight a short but decisive war. Together, the joint forces of the Indian Army and the Mukti Bahini freedom fighters were victorious when the Pakistani army laid down their weapons. By mid-December, the Pakistani military surrendered their troops and left Bangladesh altogether. December 16, 1971, marked the birth of a new independent nation of Bangladesh. The Bangladesh Liberation War left a lasting impact on the nation's identity, highlighting the resilience of ordinary people in the face of adversity. The bravery of the Mukti Bahini is undeniable. With very little training, these freedom fighters defeated a well-oiled military force. They are the real unsung heroes of this war. This historic event is near and dear to my heart because the scars of a genocide never truly go away. My own grandparents, whose voices you heard throughout this documentary, were living during these turbulent times. Sparked by the language movement, the Bangladesh Liberation War was a turning point in history because it led to the creation of Bangladesh as an independent nation whose founding principles embody religious, linguistic, and cultural diversity. This is Rehan Shams signing off. Thank you for watching.